Alrighty, welcome. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. We got a dual stream going. And there we are. Between here and here. I got sage blowing, Alice in Wonderland Oracle, or Alice in Wonderland Tarot, and the Art Oracle today. Just grounding in, clearing out some energy, going for the clear picture. Okay. This week has been energetically very intense. There have been 5 M-level solar flares going off, I think, like the first. So the electromagnetic energy happening around us right now is intense. Are you feeling it? Because I am. Where should we start? Let's start with Art Oracle. If you're on the Facebook stream and you jump on, you want to ask questions, go ahead, put them in the comments. I'll do my best to address them. And if you have any questions or intentions or anything that you want to hold in mind, now is a good time. Jackson Pollock is what we're going to start with today. Meaning doesn't come with titles. I think there are a lot of people, I don't know, maybe including myself, who are oriented towards titles. I know for the longest time I had this goal of being a doctor by the time I was 30, and I still have in this mind that I want to be a doctor. Is it for the title or whatever that's about? I'm not really sure, but it's not necessary for the work that I'm doing, and I know that. And same thing with titles. There's something about authority there. Just because somebody has the title of something doesn't mean that they have that authority over you, especially when it comes to autonomy, yeah? If fame finds you, keep working in spite of it. Chaos is handmade. I would assume maybe peace also is handmade. All comes down to perspective, but we create these scenarios that become more complex than they need to be. Right? My son said I should show the picture more. He's like, what's that card? What's that card? Right? So there's the variety of colors, all the directions. Especially if you look into the native color scheme. I don't know, everything's like mixed. It's all one. It's all together. It's holistic, I think, is what we're looking for here. Okay, and the other part of this too, let's go Titian and Jackson Pollock, and then we'll kind of dive into Alice in Wonderland and explore what these themes are telling us or trying to show us here. Go viral, not bacterial. A flattered client is a repeat client. Your personality can be as colorful as your canvas. I think it's important to what's that sandwiching technique? Good, bad, good. If you have news or if there's any sort of feedback or anything that you have to give anybody, to be very mindful of the words that you use, how you use the words. Words are power. Words are like spells, right? Spelling. There's a lot of information out there about the energetic frequency of the words that we use and just how powerful that they are and how powerful they can be. So it's important to be very specific. And like careful, conscientious. My whole spew is cultivating conscious creativity, so being conscious of the words that you're using. Because if you're not using good words, right, your words can create a lot of pain, you can create a lot of heartache, resistance, hurt people. Chances are, if you're using hurtful words, if somebody else is using hurtful words, or if they're not being cognizant maybe of how their words are impacting you, they're experiencing pain. And I think extending grace to people in these times is incredibly important. That detached compassion, having compassion for just all the chaos that we have to experience and all these difficult things that we're going through. Justice is the next card here. Justice, and then Queen of Flamingos. Queen of Flamingos came up in the last reading that we did, and she's a lot about sadness. This heartache. This heartache, right? Sadness, heartache, and I think how we look at that, how we view that heartache, the perspective that we take on it, is going to be important. This guy's hanging upside down, so he's taking a different perspective, and he's taking a different view on what that means, and it's important in these moments where we're triggered, or we're in this kind of reactive space, to take a moment, take a few deep breaths, and look at things from another person's perspective, which can be really difficult to do. A lot of people want to call themselves empathic and sensitive to other people's plights and whatnot, but I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to, or don't really know how to take on the perspective of another person. People get really caught up in these ideas that it's their way or the highway kind of a thing, where everybody has an idea of how things should be done for themselves. And I think what's important is to lead that horse to the water so the horse can drink itself, you know? Giving people enough information, like autonomy, giving people autonomy and the opportunity to make choices, but through grace and through respect and through honest communication and conversations. What is our next one? 6 Spades, or Flamingos as well. I want to see what the book has to say about this one, because in this journey we're crossing to another side. I spend all my work in research in transformation of consciousness, conscious transformation, creativity, aesthetics, and consciousness, right? So how is the information we're taking in affecting the way that we're seeing the world? And as we're going across to this other side, like ascension maybe is coming to mind, ascending energies, vibrating at higher frequencies, that 5N thing, being able to tap into the electromagnetic frequency, I don't know, maybe through the crown or up here, finding ways to pull that energy in and then transmute it, instead of being bombarded by it, finding a way to redirect things, drinking lots of water, eliminating things that no longer work. What's another theme that's kind of been on my mind this morning? Something regarding simplicity, minimalism, the minimalism, but not minimalism as it relates to like trend, the aesthetic trend, minimalism as it applies to concepts and ideas, minimizing, well, I don't want to say minimizing because that's going to reduce things, but using less bandwidth up here, and taking that electromagnetic energy and listening here. Your heart is an electromagnetic field, and your heart is going to play into this magnetic resonance, right? That's going to help to shift your reality, the way you perceive things, perception. And this is where I think people get really locked, is when their perceptions are challenged, when their ideas are challenged, when something new comes in, a new and novel idea. We're hardwired to reject something new or to resist new information. It's often seen as something threatening, which really, it's important to be cautious and to be discerning, but to open yourself up to following through with guidance. And I think a lot of people listen to guidance, but they're not following through with the guidance that they're being given, and then so chaos is ensuing because people know what they should do, but it's not getting done. Let's go to this. A journey, usually pleasant, hoping for a fast solution to a problem. Success after many attempts, sometimes a messenger. Expediency, the end of a journey. Completion here, I think, is important. Tying up loose ends. Looking around in your environment and finishing things. That's a note to self. I have so many things that have been started. Where am I? Like, I'm all inverted. So, like, started. But things need to be finished and things need to be completed. And it takes focus, sure. Hard work, the grind. This one, right? Or 7 clubs or 7 peppermills. And this guy is kind of phoenix-like, no? Chimeric. Integrating. Oh, that's another one I want to focus on too. Maybe within the next couple of weeks. I've been in consolidating my networks, also kind of expanding my reach through my networks. And so through LinkedIn, I've been writing some articles and putting some information out there through the Transformation Guide page and group. Been putting in some information. I've got a couple other pages and things where just information is being disseminated as a means to holistically combine it all into one. But it's hard work, that integrating. So my point being, integrating the shadow side and the light side and bringing together these positive, negative components, that magnetic force. We're in this electromagnetic sphere where we can take these polarities and then we can bring them together to a state of peace and harmony and balance, right? Left hand, right brain, right brain, right hand, left brain, right? There's this cross wiring. So when we bring these two together, right? This is your brain. And we bring these two together and we connect all these pieces and we can harmonize them and we can make decisions from a grounded space, an informed space, mind, body, spirit, or even body, mind, spirit. Is order of operations important? Yes. Checking what you're grounding into. Or like heart energy too, and symbolism, being aware of how symbols impact the energetic field. If we're talking about the heart shape, the red heart shape, then we're talking about the root chakra, and this pointing and this bringing this energy down, right? So there's these pictures and images out there of a green heart, inverted, upways. The green heart is your heart chakra, right? This point is the energetic information, right? Ascension. This is keeping things up, bringing things up. So again, being aware of words, signs, symbols, and how things are used. Because I don't think the intentions are naturally syncing up or aligning perhaps the way that they should. And seven is a fun number. 7 is a very whole number in so many ways. Sounds, colors, a lot of things fit into this realm of 7. I'll show you the card again. The King of the Hill, a brave person facing incredible odds, business or competition, debate, success, victory, hard work, so overcoming a lot of that energy. I think it's important to mention the opposite side of that, because if we're looking at the positive and the negative sides and we're trying to find that middle ground or that neutrality, right? This is one of those where being in that space of heavy competition is not, it's not good. I don't want to say it's not warranted to be in that space of heavy competition. There's healthy competition, sure. You know, there's this thing that necessitates a drive to make us want to do better and to evolve, and that's important. That can be healthy competition. But we get into this competitive energy that relates to ego, right, and self. It can be incredibly destructive, and people can be dishonest in this space or driven by things that I don't have the highest good of all in mind. The opposite side of this is anxiety, being unsure of one's position. Maybe that's where those titles come in too. If you're not sure of where you fit into those things, it can be helpful to assign a label or some sort of title to it. It doesn't have to be a normal title or a usual title. You can give yourself a title. I like to call myself Catalyst, Creative Catalyst. That one took, I think, years maybe to get to, and lots of work and understanding who I am and what it is that I do, right? Through personality profilings, getting objective feedback, through all sorts of information, years and years of work on who am I, what's my place in this world, what am I supposed to do, how do I show up, and how do I help, right? But how do I also maintain that autonomy and kind of that authority, I guess, over myself and my own life? You don't need authority over anybody else. You need to have authority over yourself. Having authority in that sovereignty, your self-sovereignty, and not letting other people make the rules for you. I know, right? That's hard to do because we're so indoctrinated. We live in a social system where if you don't follow specific rules, you can get in big trouble. And we don't want to get in big trouble. We don't want to be punished. We don't want to have our lives ruined and destroyed over something. Who would want that? That's not okay or healthy. So if you're feeling uncertainty, or the other part, hesitancy to the point of loss, embarrassment, hard failure, I think there are a lot of people too who sure, some of this can be self-imposed thoughts and limitations, but I think we are also formed and shaped by our environment, by the people in our environment, things are in our environment, and they're in that competitive realm and that competitive environment. There can be people who can make you, or try to make you doubt yourself or do things to embarrass you and to humiliate you and to try to undermine that confidence, and that's difficult. That's really difficult to overcome. That's why it's really important to know thyself, right? Have that self-authority, being able to exist outside of the sheeple, you know. Ooh. Do we have any more here? Okay. See, authority, being in their own power, being able to direct where all that intensity is going. The breath, how do I direct it? Through the breath, breathing, conscientious breathing, how you breathe, where you're breathing, nose breathing, versus mouth breathing. It's going to do a lot of different things, so you don't want to breathe in through your mouth, right? You're going to breathe in the bacteria and the germs. You want to breathe in through your nose. You have filters in your nose, mucus in your nose that helps to filter out a lot of those toxins that can make us sick. But I think there's something more symbolic about that too, of like, breathe before you think. I don't know if there's something to the sinus cavity or something like that. Dust, pollens, allergens can be clouding things. Smoke, dust, pollen, allergens, mostly making sure things are clean, keeping it clean, cleaning out those sort of things. There's something that this card's making me think of too. Maybe when it comes to opportunity, and something that's kind of come to mind or shown up kind of in my bubble is this idea of, if a door is closed, open it. If the door's closed, you can push it and it will open. Just because the door's closed doesn't always mean that it's locked. But if there's a door that's been closed to you, I think being able to stand at that door and knock on it kind of command your way in might be beneficial, especially if there's something that you haven't completed or something that has stopped you from doing what you want to do. Try again. Try again. We're in I want to say new phase, new energetic space where things that you may have tried years ago didn't work because people weren't attentive to it, they weren't receptive to it, but they're going to be receptive to it now. You just have to try a little bit harder to kind of push that point forward. So let's look at her. What does she have to say to us? An accomplishment and a feeling of safety. Feeling of safety. Let's do something kind of collectively for a second. And this element of safety, or this like reflection on safety, I think there's a sensation and a feeling of what safety is, and I think if we get into that.
I think crashed my laptop.
That's not good.
They couldn't fix it either on their end. So came in and went through everything. It kept disconnecting on them too. So.
One of the things we're talking about here are 5M solar flares. On the first, there were like 5 big major solar flares that kind of like obstructed things, and that's all electromagnetic stuff. So if it's affecting computers, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so it might not. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Oh. But I'm on vacation this week.
We'll be on vacation then.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my laptop in tomorrow, but I think my IT guy is on vacation too, but I'm off next week, so that'll give him the whole, I'll just have to see him. Hey, you're in charge. Camille, you guys are in charge. Now I have to tell Lloyd, North Lake Tahoe Fire, they just got a 45% increase on their medical. So I gotta go call Lloyd.
Deep breaths.
That's huge.
It is huge. Sorry, that's a distraction. My mom's a broker for group health insurance. And so it's interesting to kind of get an inside scoop on the insurance industry and how it affects other industries. And the safety, right? Taking this moment and reflecting on what safety feels like. It's a feeling, it's a meditation, it's a sensation, it's a vibration. If we can tap into like what safety feels like, what it feels like to be safe. Being safe within the self, right? Then we can act from that space. And it took me some grounding here. It's going to be interesting for me to look back through to kind of put this energy coming into the bubble to maintain a feeling of safety. Let's see, let's finish off this card. I'm going to dive into this other oracle deck. We're going to smudge this out and kind of focus some of this. Because I think there's a lot of fear. People are experiencing a lot of fear. That's why they don't feel safe. Indoctrinations, traumas. Listen to it. I mean, there's a real reason why those feelings of fear are there. They're alerting you to something in the environment, that needs to be changed and adjusted. Maybe this is an opportunity to when it comes to like fear and safety, talk about some of the biology, like the neuroaesthetic side of things. So we have our primary visual system, which is our eyeballs, and then our secondary visual system, which happens in the back of our brain. So by the time we perceive something, there's a time delay. There's a lot that happens for our brain to register what our eyeballs are seeing. So in the eyeball, you've got a couple different types of cells, and some of those cells have to do with color. So you have cells that are related to yellow-blue and cells that are related to red-green. And when yellow-blue light hits these cells, the action potentials that are triggered are, I want to say parasympathetic, are calming. They're neutralizing. If you want somebody to like your artwork, doesn't matter what the subject matter is, as long as it's primarily blue and yellow, people are going to like it because of this reason. It creates action potentials within their brain that go, oh, everything's good. Everything's like good in my environment. I can relax, right? If you're triggering the red-green cells, you're going to get an action potential that fires off something in the brain that is alarm, alarm, alarm. So it's the sympathetic nervous system. I might have those two backwards. But that's the body's fight or flight mode being triggered and activated. And that relates to fires, like forest fires, right? Because what happens when there's a big fire? The sky is red, everything gets kind of gray, right? There's this like funky, kind of like moldy greenish energy as you get the reds and the blue, or the kind of like that color combination, right? But it's an alarm system. So to be aware of that, right? Color plays a huge impact on our brains and how our brains are being stimulated. And it's all related to the natural environment and how our bodies are interpreting that information. So when it's safety, what is the statistic? It's over 50%, like 50 or 60% of people prefer the color blue. Like, that's the most favored color. Probably because of this, right? My favorite color is green. Always has been green. Green, from what I understand, also relates to electromagnetic entities, etheric energies, five-dimensional energies. So there might be more of an intensification when it comes to other things informing our decisions. 9 oysters, okay. Feeling of safety, physical pleasure, and love of nature. Nature, get into nature, put your feet in the ground, on the ground, take your shoes off, put your feet on the ground. Discretion and foresight. Discretion, so being mindful and being able to think ahead too. Your actions are going to create your action potentials. You know, they're going to create a ripple effect. They're going to impact everything else. Like in the brain, you get an action potential. It stimulates, you know, something here. And it sends back signals into the brain. You get all this information in the brain. The brain's like, okay, where are we? What are we looking at? What are we doing? What's our function here? When I got these out and I was shuffling them, I'm kind of preparing myself and grounding myself into this space. When it came to the Alice in Wonderland Oracle, we started out with no need to fear. Okay. This can take a lot of time to get out of this energy. You can slip back into it and fall back out, right? It can take a lot of time, but be patient. Remember how powerful you are. We're energetic beings. Our meat suits are these salt batteries that can take in this energy. We can be conduits for energy, and everything we put out there becomes energy, right? The hands contain a lot of energy, and so when we're moving things around, we're moving energy. It makes people uncomfortable. It stimulates the emotional body, which makes people uncomfortable when they start feeling things, right? And they can become very reactive and responsive. Even to the gestures and the body language. You don't even have to use the words. You can be very triggered by how you move yourself. 85-90% of our communication is nonverbal. Like last night, when the family was over, my grandpa getting ready to leave, I'm having a conversation with my aunt, my uncle about a smidge. Give them some sage, take home with them, and my aunt's like, oh, what is this? I love it. You know, so go in the corners and, you know, showing them moving the energy. Oh, grab cover. Stop flailing about. Because you can sense something, you know, there's a discomfort in moving all these things, and it's uncomfortable, right? So how we direct and how we navigate these things is going to bring peace. And it's going to bring harmony. It's going to bring energetics, right? Oh, put your face up to it, spine. Oh, healing looks like many things, but no need to fear. Let's pick a couple of them, and then I'll read them. We'll read into them. We're about 30 minutes in. I can do this. Maybe we'll call it about halfway. Usually go for about an hour or so. Investigate. I like this. I haven't pulled this card out of the stick yet. Hold on. I'll come back to that. Investigate. Look closely, ask questions, think before acting. Think before acting. Otherwise you're acting unconsciously. If you don't take that moment and think about your options, if you're just reacting and responding to things, that's coming from a subconscious space. And do I want to take the one on top? I guess it doesn't hurt. Follow your own good advice. You know you better than anybody else does. Don't follow your own bad advice, though. Follow your own good advice. Trust yourself. Know what is best for you. Know thyself. If you don't know yourself, you don't have objective feedback, if you haven't gone through and done the various amounts of personality profiling, if you don't understand your natal chart, if you haven't objectively monitored your patterns in various situations over the years, can you really say that you know yourself? Follow your own good advice. Okay? Trust yourself. And right way is here too. No way is the right way. This came out in the last one. I'm not going to focus on this one for this one. But know the right way, know what's right for you. It has a lot to do with following your own good advice. It comes through trial and error sometimes. Listening, getting quiet, being patient. Okay. Lead the way through example, well, maybe, but nobody is a perfect example, right? You don't have to be a perfect example to be an example to others, but know that we have mirror neurons in our brains, and people are going to mirror what you're putting out there, especially if they don't know themselves. And so we get all these things just mirroring things back to each other. What do they call? Oh, I heard this guy refer to the other side of the camera as his reflections, and I like that. I like that. I want to use that one. I want to take that one on. Refer to as my reflections. So reflections, let's lead the way. Be a leader, show others how it's done, and you can help others. You can help others by helping yourself. We're in this space right now where so many people want to help everybody else, but healing comes from within. We heal ourselves from within consciously. So we start from within, we lead ourselves, right? I guess I did put the other one back. That's fine. We'll look at this one too. Law is not justice, because we did have justice pop up here. Okay? Law is not justice. That's why you're your own sovereign entity. Okay? Just because there are laws on the books doesn't mean that that's right, right? Segregation was once a law. Is that right? Absolutely not. Right? All these things that used to be laws that no longer are laws, they have been changed, they've been adapted, and they still can change and be adapted. And they're going to change, and they're going to be adapted as we continue to observe and discover justice. Huh? We're gonna go up the number chain here, because investigate is number 7. We're digging into ourselves. We're trying to figure out how to get to the other side. How do we... It's not even how. It's like you are or you aren't, or you do it or you don't. Investigate. No, I'll look first. Look for yourself. Do the work. Too many people blindly follow others, and in many situations we can find it easier to go with the flow, to trust in other people and even follow orders. But Alice does not do this, not until she has thought it through for herself. She may be impetuous, adventurous, and curious, but she is also sensible, cautious, and inquiring. Alice remembers the good, common-sense advice she has learned through hearing stories of others' mishaps, and right now, you must be like Alice. A lot of people have made a lot of mistakes for you to learn from. Learn from other people's mistakes, right? I think that's part of why I show up in this space, and part of what I'm grappling with and trying to convey a lot of this information is, well, how much of myself do I share? How much of my own mistakes do I share? How much of my own experiences do I go through? You know, and so we're easing into that through this space. Asks you to check something carefully before going ahead. Like, take a moment and pause and reflect and kind of reevaluate everything. Reevaluate your whole life. Where you are, your environment, and just kind of check in. If there's something that needs to be addressed or worked on, allow it to come up. Put it down on paper. And figure out what the cause is. We see people in the water and they're drowning. Like, oh, help, help, help. You know, we want to extend our buoys and we want to pull them in. There's so many people drowning in the water, right? That's not the problem. The people drowning in the water isn't the problem. You go upstream, you will find the problem. There's no bridge. The bridge is out. People aren't safe. They can't get across safely to the other side because there's no bridge to get them there, and then they fall in the water and then they're drowning. So we repair the bridge. We repair the connection from one side to the other to get over to the other side so we don't get sucked into the drowning, right? You are being encouraged to take a daring new path of action. While everything is most likely well, you still need to take responsibility. Remember to be your own guardian and caretaker. Look over the details, check the packaging, be sure to know what is in the fine print, and ask questions about the arrangement or the offer which you're about to enter or accept. If, like Alice, you find there's nothing alarming or hidden about the arrangement, by all means, go ahead. If you feel safe, go ahead, right? However, do not follow orders or blindly do what you are told. You gotta get real solid, and that's gonna be really uncomfortable. People don't like hearing the word no. People can get really mean. Some people, when they hear the word no, some people get really, let's say reactive. When they hear the word no, no makes them blah. You have to hold your ground, because people will try to coerce, pressure, threaten, do whatever it is that they can to try and get you to acquiesce. Okay? I mean, it's gonna hurt, but it's gonna hurt a lot less than doing something you're not meant to be doing. Investigate, decide, and if you go ahead, be prepared for unexpected changes when you sign, start, connect, or decide to advance. There's always an element of the unpredictable, and there's no way of preparing for all the strange and wonderful things that will happen. An important decision requires you to inquire, inform yourself, and think it through thoroughly. Find out as much as you can, and look at the fine print. Don't rush. No rushing. No being reckless. No being arrogant. I know nothing is a great statement, right? Being open to creative new possibilities and innovation. being overly, refusing to learn from experience. Life will show you the same things over and over again, and you'll go through the same cycles over and over again until you get it. Being overly trusting that this time it will be okay. That's where I get caught up, is I get too trusting, and I don't have that guard up, and whatever, and it doesn't work out. Learn from my mistakes. Be cautious, be gracious, be respectful, but be guarded, because people aren't going to show you everything. Not everybody is direct and honest. Most people aren't direct and honest. They're not even direct and honest with themselves. They don't even know themselves. Okay. Doing what you're told without using your own wits and intelligence is not good. You have your own autonomy and authority, so use it. There's no need to fit in, especially when the group is doing things that aren't okay, or they're not ethical, or you don't agree with, or it's not aligning with your value systems in some sort of way. It's okay to say no. It's okay to just stop and walk away. You don't have to wait for the polite time to do something. You don't have to wait for the perfect timing. If it's not working for you and you're uncomfortable or you're unsafe, just go. You don't need an explanation. You don't need anybody to have to tell you. You don't need the permission. Just stop. Don't feed it anymore. Don't play into it. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to resist it. You don't have to get into battle mode. It's not what we're talking about here. I'm gonna look at the art oracle again. Okay. Oh, this guy. If committed, stay committed. Okay. If you haven't finished, you're not done. And it's difficult and it's challenging and you're resisting, stick it out, follow it through. Okay, follow it through to the end of the lesson. Okay. If you're committed to something, stay with it. That's called integrity. Okay, if you said you would do something, then do it. Follow through. If it's not right away, or if it's not in somebody else's timing, that's okay. It can be in your timing. But your timing must be in alignment with divine timing. Okay, it's not ego, arrogance timing, right? It's your higher self timing. It can take a while to get into. Posthumous recognition requires a paper trail. Use the daylight to face the night. Write it down. Get it outside of yourself and write it down. The daylight to face the night. Again, the polarizing. Okay. I don't want to read like all of the things from all of the ones. You pick out some of the things that are standing out. Follow your own good advice. Okay, okay, me. I'll do some too. Trust yourself. Know what is best for you. Come, there's no use in crying like that. Said Alice to herself rather sharply. I'd advise you to leave off this minute. She generally gave herself very good advice, though she very seldom followed it. Look, she's got tea. She's got coffee too. She's having coffee. Coffee with Kelsey too. Harsh self-judgment for a mistake or an error made. Give yourself grace too. It's not the end of the world if you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Okay, we all make mistakes. We have to. Trial and error, that's how we learn. It's called learning. Unmet personal expectation causing inconsolable sadness. Yeah, I know, right? No, I didn't meet my goal of being a doctor at 30, and I'm crying to myself about it all the time. But it's fine, right? Reminder to detach. Detached compassion. Okay? there's a lot of great things and other opportunities that this has opened up to me, right? In the world of academia, I can apply for art grants. So now that I'm no longer in academia, I have the scope of permission where I can focus on art. Ooh, and that's scary. And something I was listening to in my meditation this morning really resonated. And this, like, being an energy worker, pretending to be a psychologist. But I feel like I've been pretending to be a psychologist. But really, I'm like this art, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So what are these, what are these labels that we're trying to give ourselves in order to mask who we truly are, in order to fit into a group, friends, family? People have certain expectations for us, and if we don't meet those expectations, they get mad, but not our problem. I don't think people should be putting those sort of expectations on you. You should be putting expectations on yourself. Okay? And if you don't meet those expectations, then make sure you're setting realistic goals and get alignment with something else beyond that. Detach, find clarity, and follow your personal internal guidance system, which has some very practical solutions. You like cut out all the distractions, and you cut out all that noise, and you like flush out everybody else's stuff, and you just sit with yourself. You'll have the answer. It'll be given to you. People don't like to sit alone with themselves. They don't like to be on their own. They like to be cradled by this group or these other things, so they don't have to be full-on independent in themselves, because then they have to take responsibility for their actions. Whereas if you're part of the group and everyone else is doing it, then you're not responsible because everyone else is doing it too, and then so where's the accountability? There's no accountability. There's no currency. Okay? There's no energetic flow that you're taking in from up here and putting out there. You're taking in your information from here and then just a part of this chaos, and then what? Okay? Lead the way. She's right on the edge of the shores, right on the edge of the water, soon getting ready to embark on this journey. Let's see, 12. Alice led the way, and the whole party swam to the shore. Okay? Do what's best for yourself. You'll see who follows. And if people don't follow, then leave them behind. Leave them to their own devices, leave them to their own journeys, leave them to their own missions. Leave them behind, leave them ahead, leave them on the path, leave them to the left, leave them to the right. You don't have to bring people with you. Maybe you'll be reunited again once you reach the other side. She looks so sad in this deck too. It is time to step up into a leadership role. We're ascending. Okay? Others are looking to you to solve a problem or show them how to work through an emotional situation. This is a way to work through emotional situations, okay? Help others by showing them what needs to be done, not by telling them what to do. Okay. Calm your emotions, ground and center yourself so you can be of greater service to others. I'm trying. It's not working. Cannot help others overcome emotional distress until you have learned how to calm your own feelings. Be steadfast, strong, and encourage others by your own calm example. This doesn't mean that you don't feel not calm feelings, or you don't have to be calm 24/7 and only calm in order to do these things. You're going to be feeling not calm some of the times, and that is okay. But I think we need safe containers, sacred containers to be emotional in. Again, not everybody knows how to navigate or handle emotions. Emotions can be very triggering. We live in a society that says don't show emotions, just be happy, be logical, emotions are bad and dark and scary and all about women, and women are bad, and who wants to be like that, you know? Be like, man, be like, you know, man up. Woman up. feel your emotions. Really feel them. Process them and transmute them. Do something about them. Feel it. If it's an uncomfortable emotion, feel it. If it's an exciting emotion, share it. Okay, put that out there. We need more excitement in the world. We need more good news and things in the world. But at the same time, we also need to be able to share the harder things, the darker side of things, the negative emotions. We need to be able to talk about things that make people uncomfortable. To shine the light on it in order to address it and to change it. Otherwise, it doesn't change and it stays the same. It stagnates and it creates problems and issues and complications, and nobody wants that. I have a question. I don't know if it's appropriate for this space or not. Because I think in this transformation guide thing that I'm putting together, I have this question of, well, how do I show people this process? Do I be vulnerable with them and show them my own? And I experimented and made one of those videos that's, got the emotion expression in it, and in watching back through it a few times, I've pinpointed these points where those emotions come up and put in the breathing work, and you can see in live time how that emotion is being calmed. But I don't know that I want to put that out there. Maybe that's my question. Do we show that? Do we talk about that? Do we go that from that? Because that's intense. That's a lot. That makes me feel very vulnerable. And here we are talking about safety and wanting to be safe in that. And so, investigate. I'm investigating. I'm asking questions. Is this going to work? Is this what people want? Is this going to help? Let's do the next one. Law is not justice. Okay. Law is not justice. Rules that are not fair. Oh, it's bookmarker too. I think about this one often. I think there are a lot of people who are affected by this. Unfair rules. Rules and laws are often put into place by a governing body to oppress people and to elevate other people. Which is why it's important to govern yourself. Okay? Let the jury consider their verdict, the king said for about the 20th time that day. No, no, said the queen. Sentence first, verdict afterwards. We react and we punish to proclaim authority over something and to dominate. It's not the right way to go about stuff. Investigate, ask questions, be respectful. Right? Come up with a verdict. And then create the sentence. I mean, that even goes with words too, like, not just in like the realm of like a judicial setting or something, but the sentence, the words you put together, you organize and construct together, create a sentence. So before you decide to speak your mind and talk about your opinion or put your opinion on others, investigate, use your words wisely, and be very conscientious of the sentences that you're using, because that sentence can sentence someone to death. And do you have that authority over somebody? What gives you the supreme right and the supreme authority to punish and hurt somebody based off the sentences that you speak? Okay? Who gave you the almighty authority to condemn people through your sentences and the words that you use? I think the answer is nobody. You don't have that authority. You only have may have the authority to impose the law, but the law or the rule is ready to be questioned. Stand up for yourself, following the law, even though it is unjust. Don't do that. Don't follow unjust laws. What people do, the sheeple, walk right off the cliff, little lemmings. Being judged by people who do not know you have a biased view, who do not know you or who have a biased view. Most people have a biased view. You can tell based on their opinions of you, on what their biases typically are. You can tell based on their reactions what their biases are. It's obvious. It really is. You listen to the patterns. It's not so evident in maybe one example, but enough interactions with somebody, you'll get a sense of what their value systems are. Condemnation without knowing the full story. How many of you are like that too? Where you go and condemn somebody and say, oh, that person's this, and this, and this, but you don't know the whole story. They haven't told you that whole story. Somebody else told you something that somebody else had said that maybe they had said something to them about, and then you're basing your opinions and your views off of somebody's biased viewpoints without investigating and discovering for yourself. Really? Really? That's you? Do better. Know the full story before you make up your mind about something. If it's something about me, come and ask me. Be direct with me. I will be direct and I will be honest, and I will tell you, I'll give you whatever side of a story. But oftentimes, people won't come to you to get that side of the story because they're more invested in upholding their own biases based off their own condemnation and their own opinions. So it's important to be direct. Being judged by people who do not know you or have a biased view. Okay, you may be judging people you do not understand. If you don't understand, don't judge. Don't make a judgment if you don't understand. If you don't understand, it's not your place to make a judgment. Make a judgment when you understand. Is this good or bad for me? I don't understand. I don't understand what this is. I don't know if it's good or bad for me. I don't understand how to do this, so how do I know what's good and how do I know what's bad if I don't understand? You don't. You understand? I understand. I can make a judgment. Good, bad, right, wrong, left, right, up, down. But go for understanding, and if you don't understand, don't put it on the other person to understand for you. Do the work. Do the investigations, explore, read the books, do the things, like, figure it out for yourself. Stop letting other people make these decisions for you. Please. Be sure to have a fuller picture and avoid condemnation and judgment. Be discerning, but be sure to be fair and be just. Okay? Let's see, how many of these are at? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that fifth one. What do we have for time? 58? Do I have any more in this one for today? Not really. Not really. I think maybe we'll pull one more out of Art Oracle, just for fun. Just to give us something to think about and to contemplate on. Then we can, like, smudge and kind of ground all of this out for the day. I've got some more free time coming up and just, like, free space coming up. So I'm hoping to get some opportunities to get back into here a little bit more consistently this week. This one will work. Wasily Kandinsky, he's come up a couple of times for us. He keeps showing up here. So I think we're still trying to get this point across, okay? Kandinsky says, transcend systems to find spirit. That's exactly what we're talking about. Overcome these limiting beliefs and these environmental systems unhealthy environmental systems, overcome them, okay? Find spirit. Connect in. All those big giant solar flares and all this electromagnetic stuff happening in the Schumann resonance. If you've been watching the Schumann resonance at all, just so much energy coming at us right now. For you to tap into, for you to ascend, for you to grow, for you to evolve and to go through this. It's up to you to, like, tap into that. Hear music through sight and begin with the dot, begin with the point. The point we're beginning with is cultivating conscious creativity. How to be consciously creative. There's a point. You must be conscious of what it is that you're creating. Right? If you want to cultivate something that is beneficial to all, hear music through sight. Be willing to take on different perspectives is what I take from that. Look at the book on this guy. Smudge, and then close this channel off for the day. If you do want one-on-one readings, please reach out to me. I am available. Remote, or we can figure out how to meet in person and all of that. If you feel like donating, contributing to this, it would be awesome. I got my Venmo account stuff listed or whatever. Reach out. It's a currency, it's an energy thing. Okay, Kandinsky, what do you have to tell us today? At age 30, he quit his legal career in Moscow to study art in Munich. Interesting, because we're talking about law, too. Quit his legal career in Moscow to study art in Munich, where he converted to pure abstraction, this form of spiritual liberation. He became a key member of Der Blaurateur, the Blue Rider. A trained musician, Kandinsky felt color could be as expressive as notes, his own life sounding like a sad tune. You can turn your sadness into beauty if you put it onto paper. Sadness isn't bad and ugly, it's why art exists. Art shows us beauty in all of the emotions. It's beautiful. Feelings are beautiful. They lead to these just amazing experiences and aha moments, and they tap into these realms in the psyche, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know I could perceive the world like that. Wow, all these things I took for granted all of a sudden are just so awe-inspiring, beautiful. Whoa. I like being that energy. Fleeing World War I in Western Europe, Kandinsky returned to Moscow at revolution o'clock. Whoops! Back to Germany to teach for Bauhaus for about a decade before the Nazis started breaking windows. Kandinsky became a French citizen on the eve of World War II. The Nazis confiscated his works and called it degenerate art. He died in Paris within months of the city's liberation from Nazi occupation. No, the system isn't going to like you expressing yourself creatively and emotionally. No way. Of course people are going to try to take that away from you and to try to stop that. Does that mean that that's okay? Does that mean that you can't do it? Not at all. Not at all. Let's smudge this out. Let's clean it. Let's ground it. Take our breaths together and breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out. Regulate. In through the nose. Ground. Put your feet on the ground. Smudge. Ship. Take an opportunity just to cut out some things that are not working. Thank you very much for showing up in this space. I love doing this work. I am doing my best to get better at things and make things more cohesive and extend confidence and blah, 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 blah. So for everybody who's helped me so far, thank you. I can't do this alone. I feel like I'm alone, but I'm not, because you're all here. Cool, let's do grass. Cool. Thanks, Ben. And if you have questions, reach out. Please, please, please. One way or another, we'll make it work.